Primitive humans saw lightning but didn't know how to explain it. So he made up a story about Zeus. Ancient mankind was caught in the rain and didn't know how to explain it. So God was crying. In more recent times, through scientific discovery, natural explanations were found for natural phenomena. As science progressed, there was less and less room left for God or the gods. Today, we don't know the cause of the beginning and physical design of the cosmos, so we plug God in there. In time, though, science shall be able to explain that too as well. Thus goes the explication of the God of the Gaps fallacy in reasoning. As science closes the gaps in our ignorance, there will eventually be no room left for God, and so Christian apologists can take refuge in scientific ignorance for now, but later on their faulty reasoning shall be shown for what it is. He who weds his faith to the spirit of one age shall have to get a divorce in the age to come, after all, when the spirit of the age changes. So this is the charge leveled against apologetics time and time again in debates and dialogues and books and so on. The problem is such fallacious reasoning as God of the Gaps is only found in the minds of the anti-theists. The Christian apologist normally would never resort to such sophism, such sophistry, and I know what you're thinking. Surely atheists and other skeptics don't believe in a God, so they never plug him into any gaps. True enough, but they put such arguments into the mouths of their opponents when they are not really there. They say, quote, "Give us scientific evidence for God," not expecting us to really reply. When we do reply with scientific evidence for God, they don't know what to do. They panic. Then they remember something they read in quote-unquote free thinking propaganda, repeat the mantra God of the Gaps, and then thunk, the head is shoved firmly back into the sand where it was before. I hasten to add, God of the Gaps reasoning is an approach to defending the faith, not a good approach, but it is one approach, and it is an informal logical fallacy. It fails as a successful piece of natural theology, though. It is because it is fallacious logic that followers of the Logos avoid using it. So I submit that the skeptic is abusing a legitimate counter-argument. The people who so abuse it are the same people, usually, who abuse the perfectly legitimate principle of parsimony, or Occam's razor. The principle of parsimony is that we should not have more assumptions multiplied than we need, not that we should eliminate all assumptions that we can. After all, naturalism does have fewer assumptions than theism, but it gives up too much. It doesn't have enough assumptions. Libertarian freedom, human consciousness, and love, to name three things which naturalism does not have enough assumptions multiplied to allow for, but of course these are all parts of our experience. We love our family, so because there is love, naturalism, which is says there's only material things, it doesn't include immaterial things like love, cannot be true. It has fewer assumptions than theism, but it doesn't have enough assumptions to cope with reality. So Occam's razor would be abused to say that naturalism is to be preferred over theism because it is simpler. All right, so the Occam's razor, along with God of the Gaps, are abused by skeptics sometimes. All right, so in various forms of the teleological argument, and more especially in the cosmological arguments, it is not that we as Christian apologists are saying, quote, science doesn't know yet the explanation, so we'll just say it was God. Unquote. Rather, what we are saying is, quote, that science does know that there is no possible natural explanation, even in principle, and only God can be placed in the gap, unquote. You can't fit a square peg in a round hole. You can only fit a round peg in a round hole. Science gives us the round hole, and the cosmological argument gives us the round peg. That is God. If you want to reject the rational conclusions of natural theology, you are free to do that, though I would question anyone's rationality who rejects reason itself. But please, no more of this nonsense of twisting our words as apologists and placing in our mouths what our tongues have never said. We are not using God of the Gaps arguments. Again, I have never heard anyone use a God of the Gaps argument aside from people speaking out against belief in God, as I have already said. Shalom out.